Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Tuesday night reading sprints. I've got to stop doing these on different days because I don't know what day it is as it is. And sprints normally tell me at least that it's a Thursday, but it is Tuesday today. StreamYard's been kind to me at the minute. I seem to have lots of extra hours. So the two lovely friends, Paul and Sharon, have popped on. You can find them in all the good places of chatting about books on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and stuff. You're both on TikTok, aren't you? Yes, TikTok.
Yes.
I started on TikTok less than a year ago. It's about 9 months. I just thought it was fun to talk about books, really, and I enjoyed listening to other people rant about them. And so I just started doing it. It amazes me that people want to listen to me witter on. And then
what you said.
and I'm on Instagram, and I'm starting YouTube in end of July.
Yay!
Well,
So,
at the end of July, it will be my 8 years on YouTube.
Wow.
So,
I love YouTube. I just never really use it. My husband uses it a lot. He does a podcast on YouTube.
I'm trying to think of what to do for, like, you know, marking the 8 years.
Oh, it's got to be a big one,
What
love.
do?
Big one.
Looking back at my first video and cringing.
Yeah.
You could do a live stream or something like that, like get some people on and do some reading, like
Yeah.
a kind of extended sprint.
Yeah, I could do, yeah.
Good idea.
You guys down for that? Yeah. Good, all right.
As long as I can do short doses. You know what I'm like at the moment, like Nathan, unless he's asleep, in which case he can cope without me, but during the day it's just like, nope.
I forget I'm on camera. You know, when I'm talking away, I forget there's anybody there. And so it's just, you know, everybody's like, you're so normal. I'm like, yeah, well, like I said, I didn't realise anybody's listening. I don't assume anyone's listening. I just assume I'm talking to myself.
I know, I'm the same, and I have to be really careful because there's some stuff like about book things that I'm like, am I allowed to say that? Am I so tired that I'm going to let something slip out? Yes. So I just have to try and watch. And I think, I don't know, it depends how you feel, because some people don't want to be candid when they're doing this kind of thing and they don't want to talk personally, and you just got to kind of find your way through it. And if that's how you feel, then I think that's good. It means you're not going to get stressed about doing any videos.
I think being candid, I mean, it took me a while to be like completely normal and free in front of the camera. It felt like before I was like, you know, in old videos, I'd be like, you know, quiet and whispering and trying to be like, you know, put the best version of myself forward, and then I'm just like, yeah, nah.
I'm too old for that. I mean, I'm like 54. Do you know what I mean? I don't really care what people think about me now. I couldn't care less, really. I love it. I love it. And the people in the book community is so lovely. Is so friendly. And I've made some wonderful friends. You too, for instance. But you know, other people online that I don't have a close friend near me who loves books as much as I do. So it's just, I really enjoy it. It's good fun.
No, I've not got close friends I've got close friends, but none of them that read as much as I do, and you know, kind of thing. So it's like, it's good having such a good community of bookish people.
Yeah, some of my friends read, but not in the same way that I do, and they don't read kind of critically and to review it anywhere. I think it was over COVID, really, that I kind of realised that my online friends were just as meaningful as my ones that I see more often. And it's my online friends like Mia Kuzhny, who I've done the anthology with, and Shelley Toy, who does Point Horror Book Club. Like they're now two of my like real life best friends as well as online ones. Like, and it just started off as a bit of online chat that kind of became a real like connection.
I just think it would be lovely if we all met up. Do you know what I mean? I'd just squeeze you all.
Come to some events. Come to Yalk or
yes.
Foyer is another good. London's not that far from you, is it?
It's the practicalities of it. I'm not terribly mobile. I'm disabled, so it's just the practicalities of it, really.
Well,
and I'd have to drag my husband, and he'd be like, you know, what's going on here? To be fair,
Chris is we've managed to talk Chris into taking me to Yalk for my 40th. I'm like, don't want any presents, just take me to Yalk. That'll be fine.
Perhaps I'll ask for it for my 60th. It's only 6 years till I'm 60, so perhaps I'll
I'll do it for then. I think I'm only going to make it this year. So if you can make it this year, like it's in November. I mean, other years it's been it's been held in
July, usually.
I have to say, I need to do a visit to Yorkshire, because apart from the fact you're two are in Yorkshire, one of my best book friends, Amelia, is in Yorkshire. So I think I need to do a trip to Yorkshire, and that's where my mum comes from.
We should all go. We should all go to like do a Whitby weekend.
Yeah.
You know what? We've said that before. It seems to be like loads of author friends of mine want to do a Whitby weekend, and loads of like kind of the blogger and reviewer friends. Maybe we need to like make this happen together. Like, right, let's get all these people who write about books and all these people who read books together.
It's just the idea of sat in a room with a load of people who love books, just reading and drinking tea, and occasionally having a chat. And or just, shall I go and get the snacks? Yeah, you go and get the snacks. What chapter are you on? And then, you know what I mean? Just, it would just be lovely, wouldn't it?
We did a writing retreat, a few of us, last year. I did it with Kat Ellis, Dawn Curtis, Murphy, George Bowers, Catherine Foxfield, and it was great. It was like all these people I really admire writing together. But we said we need a do-over because it was really good, but we did it at Gladstone's Library and you're not allowed to talk. So,
no.
So during the day, we didn't realise quite how strict it was there. So we were all sat at our silent little booths, and it was very kind of magical and focused, but not so much like the kind of chat and like having a laugh, like you said, Sharon. So we're going to try and do it again and get a house at some point so we can write and talk to each other.
I see Catherine's new book is out in 9 days. I just saw her post on Instagram. Another lovely cover. She does the most beautiful covers, doesn't she?
And they look really good together as well. I think she's had the same designer all the way through. And
so that's exciting.
I saw today the interiors of the anthology. Scholastic do such lovely jobs of the whole lot of design. I'm very excited. It's going to print now. That's it.
It's so exciting. It's not long now. It's so exciting. I've got it on pre-order, and I keep checking when the date is because there's no specific date yet. It's not saying a date. It's just saying it'll be sometime in September, is it? October, September.
14th of September. I can give you the
you just keep saying September, and I'm like, give me an actual date. And
I need to take that. I didn't realise it's
letting secrets
I haven't
out.
checked for a few days, so. But I'm very excited about that. It's perfect for the autumn.
It's been very, very fun. And the authors, they've had like a lot of autonomy over what they've written. So I think everybody's story feels like them, and they've all like had their own idea. I kind of didn't steer anything. I've just done some editorial bits, but it's all them.
And then Rosie's book's out at the same time.
Rosie's
Rosie's book looks gorgeous as well.
Oh God, I can't wait! I'm so excited for that. Do you know what I mean? I love 16 Souls, so I love all the characters in that. So I'm really excited for that. Another stunning cover. Your covers are good as well. I expect the new one will be just as good. And yours kind of match in a way. You know, they look nice on the bookshelf.
Yeah, well, we had an illustrator for the second one, and he's doing the third one as well. So the first one was kind of Shutterstock and pieced together, but he managed to match that style, but obviously illustrate it. So the last one, it'll be nice. We've started putting together some ideas of what that's going to be, so hopefully it'll be really cool. I love the black
edges. I love the black edges. I like anything that's got a little bit of difference. I like, you know, if there's a bit of illustration in it. I just think it makes the whole book experience so much more immersive. So looking forward to that one. That's another one for next year, isn't it?
Yay, April. Yeah, you kind of very good at letting me kind of, mind you, Scholastic happened too. I like it when I've only worked with 2 publishers, but they've kind of really let me have a say and be involved in all the way through the process. And I think that's, if you can get that, it's really good, because it's not, I think some publishers, they kind of steer you more, and some are kind of open to being steered. So it's been good so far.
I've changed microphones. Can you still hear me?
Love.
Yeah, I can hear the fan a little bit, but you're absolutely fine. Keep your fan blasting. Keep yourself nice and cool. I'll just see who's in the comments, and then we can find out what you two are reading, and then jump on to the first sprint. So we have got hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Thank you for having me. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Thanks for joining us.
Yay!
Yeah, we need like a mass exodus to Whitby, please. It looks like you're bringing loads of friends tonight, Paula.
I guess.
Hi.
Yes, Amelia. My friend Amelia I was talking about is in Yorkshire.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that Amelia? Which one? Sorry.
Mini Meal. I think Mini Meal is. I think that's Amelia. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. I like that little play on spelling, mini meal. Thank you for coming on, everybody. It's nice to see some new faces and
Hi,
some
Caroline.
folk. Hi, Caroline. Yeah, we are cooler today, but the house is still a little pocket of heat. I'm at home on Thursday, so I should be able to open every window and kind of let all the heat out. But then it'll probably be hot again. So tonight I'm working on a thing that I'm not going to say anything about, except that I have written it and I'm editing it and making it better.
You're such a tease. Such a tease, mate.
This is the one.
They're always teasing. They're always teasing.
Nobody's bought this one. I'm still working on it, so I need to make it really good. I don't want to jinx myself. So I'm not saying anything until it's, if it ever sells, hopefully it will. Until it's in the bookseller or whatever, I'm not going to spoil it for myself. It's scary. I think as soon as you start talking about something you're creating, it doesn't, I don't know, it feels different. Like I want it to be just mine for now. I'm my agent, she's read it, and Mia's read it. Sorry, I've let it go into my usual beta readers, but it's not gone any further than that.
I get that.
I can understand that.
Mia does excellent beta reading. She puts little funny things in the margin and shows her happy reactions as well as saying improve this bit. She gives you lots of nice happy feelings. So I'm feeling.
I'd feel weird beta reading and saying a bad thing or say what. I'd just be like, sorry, it's great.
I love beta reading. I love sticking little comments in and stuff. Yeah. And then I do little emojis and I draw on them. I draw on it, and then every now there you are. And every now and then, I don't know what happened then. Every now and then, I'll just go. Now, do you want me to correct your grammar or not? Do you know? Is it going to offend
me
you?
As well, Sharon. Oh, I'm such a grammar police.
See, I'd be rubbish at it. I'd be rubbish at it.
I used to do editing. I used to be an editor, so I did it. I was an editor in the past, so.
I don't think you'd be rubbish, Paula. I think some people read for the grammar side of it and the nitty-gritty, which I really enjoy. And then, Mia doesn't do that with mine. She reads it for, big picture stuff. So she kind of reads it as a reader as well as a writer and, says, oh, I love this bit. Or I've got no idea what's going on here. Explain yourself better. And I don't know, my agent's quite kind of to the point and, right, it's great, but you need to fix this. So I'm quite used to the kind of, I know that this is going to make it better, and at the end she'll tell me it's brilliant, hopefully. So
I try and read for the vibes. When I'm doing better reading, it's just it's for the vibes of it. I love this bit. This makes no sense. Same kind of thing. And because then you've got editors who correct the actual nitty gritty of it. You just read and see if it's a good. For me, I'm reading. Is this a good story? Mm-hmm. And why is it a good story? Do you know what I mean? And I'm very emotive. I'm like, wow, I love this bit.
I think a publisher needs to see a book is in a really good shape, as good as you can do with the help of the people around you. But ultimately, they are going to shape it and steer it anyway. Yeah. And some publishers are really hands-on, so they want to really get stuck into it with you. So yeah, it is. You've just got to all the way through. My agent quite often says stuff, and I'm like, that's going to hurt. It's kill off that character. You don't need that one. Combine those two characters.
I do. I love them.
I know. And you kind of, sometimes I fight for it and I'm like, well, you obviously didn't like that, so I'm going to make it amazing so you can't say no to it. Or sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm angry, but also you're right. You're right. I don't know whether I've just brought that up.
Tis I, Amelia. Another Yorkshire lass. You see, there's some good people in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
There are.
Good old people from Yorkshire.
My mum was from Yorkshire, so I do agree.
There's some all right ones down south as well, Sharon. Some of you.
I'm not from the south, love. I'm from the Midlands.
Well, that's
I'm just visiting Devon. I've only been here 20 years. I'm still a tourist.
All right. Oh, bless you. So I'm editing a thing. You are. What are you going to read? I presume you can tell us.
Well, you can see what I read. I'm reading The Weight of Blood.
It's supposed to be really good. I love your bookmark.
Yeah, Chris bought me some new bookmarks, so I was like, cool. Why not?
I've got that on the pile. It has not. The spine hasn't cracked yet, but it's there. It's in the room.
I'm not that far in. I'm only 2-3 chapters in right now. It's good. Obviously, it's a Carrie retelling. Yeah, stress. Just wanting to jump in the book and just hit everyone that's mean.
Oh, Carrie makes me feel so sad and angry. I've read it a couple of times, and I do. It's one of those books that makes me feel like screaming.
Yeah.
How about you, Sharon? I feel like you're going to be reading something quirky and terrifying.
Well, I've got two because I've nearly finished one. I'm reading out because I've got myself a new Kindle. So I'm reading this one, Girl Zero. Not quite sure how much of it I can explain because it's actually really quite a dark subject, but it's basically about the dark web and the trafficking of children.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's
one of them
definitely
escaped.
not one for me.
And one of them escaped. No, but it actually doesn't go into that much apart from the beginning. And then one of the children, who's 14, she escapes and seeks out the people who've been paying to revenge and to find her sister. So actually, it's like a revenge tale.
Okay.
But it is quite. And I actually started reading it and said to Carl, "Do you know, I think this might even be too much for me because actually, this is a fictional interpretation of what actually goes on in real life." And I mean, I stuck with it, and it was only the first few chapters that were a bit. Oh, actually, that's a bit too close. I don't really have any triggers, but it didn't trigger me. I just felt uncomfortable with the subject matter. But after that. Oh, I like her a lot. I do. And then after that, I've only got a couple of chapters. I'm going to be reading this one, Infested, which is obviously a creature feature where a load of people get trapped in an apartment building and bugs infiltrate the humans and turn them psycho. So,
nice.
Well, I did also bring my Kindle just in case because Sour Candy's on here. We were talking about Buddy reading that, but
I still can't find it. I'm gonna like have to turn my room upside down. It's so small, isn't it? And my books are in such chaos that I can't see it anywhere. I will find it. If not, I'll cave and buy it on my Kindle. If it doesn't take me in 2 weeks if I've not found it, I'll just get another copy.
You okay, Sharon?
Right,
I'm fine. I'm just dehydrated.
Oh, no.
Hydrate.
Yeah, I think it's time to go to a sprint. Let's hydrate. I'm going to hydrate and biscuit myself because I feel like I might need to.
Good old biscuit.
I've got my little thing to lean on. So
nice.
Right. Yes.
Everybody get comfy. Let us know. I know. I mean, so a book that's too much for Sharon, but she carried on with it. Speaks volumes, that Sharon. You're very, very difficult to scare. I think I'm thinking about it. I need to find something. One day
it's
I'll
not
get
scary, but sometimes you sometimes read something you think actually this is on the edge of exploitative, and I don't want to read that.
Yes.
So it's like right on the edge of real life, and I don't want to. That's not fair.
So I can compartmentalize quite a lot with things, so it's like I don't tend to get triggered that much at all. But when it comes to young children and small children, I'm just like no.
Yeah, same.
Nope.
That doesn't bother me usually, but it's just if it's going to become like like torture kind of exploitative, then no.
Yeah. I don't like that in films or in books.
No, neither do I.
If it's a horror movie that's like the kind of torture scenario, I'm just not. Unless it's something like Saw, where the psychology of it is interesting enough to keep me there. If it's
gory, gruesome, bloody, people
I said
dying left, right, and centre, fine.
I said who the killer was in Saw straight away. They're like, have you seen this before? I'm like, no. They're like, are you sure? And I'm like, dude, you just bought the DVD and I had not been to the cinema. It's like, what? But,
they're good because they're games. They're good fun. They are. I find them fun. That's kind of comfort horror. That is
comfort horror.
Comforting. Shall he chop his hand off or not? That kind of happy stuff. Oh, Cruel Illusions! I really, really want that one. Yes,
she's really loving it as well. Because she wasn't sure she would like it when you made it, and she's really enjoying it. So it's really good.
Margie Houston's debut novel, Vampires, Hearts and Other Dead Things, was really good, about a girl who goes to New Orleans because her father's got cancer and she is trying to find a vampire to see whether vampirism can cure cancer. So it's got a very high stakes, but sorry.
Just checking if Cruel Illusions is on my
You got to get a vampire pun in there somewhere,
I can't help it. I do it accidentally because it's just my bread and butter, Sharon. Like whenever I'm given a blurb, I'm like, how many vampire puns can I cram into this thing?
Put some on TBR too, Paula. I've put it on since Amelia said it was so good.
Yeah, I meant to buy it for some reason. I haven't yet, so I need to get on that.
It is on there now.
That might.
And what was the one that you were saying?
Vampires, Hearts and Other Dead Things.
think that's on mine, but I'm just checking.
So it goes, a girl, so she goes to New Orleans, and it's that balance of bittersweet. Like, she's having a great time in New Orleans, but also feeling this weight of her father being ill, and she's sort of meeting people, and could they be vampires? Some of them, are they real vampires? Are they not? It's that kind of thing. It's really good.
Love a vampire book.
Yes.
It goes without saying that I do, but I feel like when people I say that at this point, people are like, really? Do you?
Shocking.
I'm not in the Buffy room to prove it, but
yeah, it's like Sharon likes horror. Really?
Yeah, really dark horror too. Let's do a sprint for anybody who's not been here before. We tend to do 40 minutes chat, 40 minutes chat, 30 minutes. By the last 30 minutes, I'm so tired that you could ask me anything and I'll probably start blabbering about it, and I'm incoherent. So if you like that, feel free to stay to the end. If you two are too tired by then, feel free to drop off at any point, because I know you're at work tomorrow, Sharon, and I know
you could probably still hear Wyatt crying or kicking off.
I can't hear him right now, but I'm familiar with that scenario. Yeah. Everybody who's watched my streams has been, so don't worry about it. Usually they end abruptly because somebody has woken up and needs mummy, yesterday. Let's see. So let's get Kitty up. We'll do 40 minutes, and then let us know in the comments what you're reading and how you get on. And we'll Sorry, I was a little bit slow off the mark then. I was like mid scrambling to write stuff down. I always do that. I'm like, 10 seconds before the end, I'll just have an idea. I think it's really good. So I have to like rattle through to get it written down. How did you two get on? How about you, Sharon? Did you have a good session?
Yeah, I did. I had to pop off briefly because husband came back. But yeah, very good. 5% left.
Oh,
So,
is it feeling really tense? Are things starting to get wrapped up?
It is definitely not something anybody with children should ever read.
Okay, got it.
But the ending is pretty epic, yeah. And I love a good revenge story. But yeah, it was hard. It's a good story, but hard going really. For subject matter, it's hard. But yeah,
it's
so
interesting.
I move on to the creature feature now, which is far more my idea of fun.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you need a palate cleanser after that.
Yeah,
one. Yeah, I'm listening to The Project by Courtney Summers. I don't know whether either of you have come across her books before.
I've read some Courtney Summers books before, yeah.
They're very hard-hitting, YA, but very like high-end kind of issues. And this one's about a girl whose sisters got pulled into a cult and they lost both of their parents, so they kind of only had each other. And yeah, it's, without saying too much, I'm wondering about reliability of certain characters and deciding whether you like them or not. But it's so fascinating, the idea of this group that don't see themselves as a cult that brought this girl into their folds like they do. And I'm just trying to figure out whether they say they're not a cult, but do they actually know that there's something sinister underneath it? So it's very interesting. As you can probably tell,
this is cultish. This is cultish with like on an industrial scale. It's bringing people in on an industrial scale and providing them with children. It's it's very, very dark. But yeah,
I find cults kind of fascinating in a way. It's that kind of how, that mentality of how can like one person manage to sway such a large group of people. It just baffles me.
Yeah, they tend to be intelligent people as well. A lot of these people they're not stupid. They're intelligent, educated people.
Have you read Don't Call It a Cult or watched any of the stuff about Nixium? It's really interesting because you kind of see the leader on TV and you expect this really like debonair, charismatic person that must have wooed them with their strength of personality and stuff. But I just don't get that. I mean, I'm seeing it on a TV screen. I don't get that from him at all. And yet, like you said, there's all these really young, kind of strong-willed women who know their own minds and have careers and have families. And some of them just dropped everything and ruined their whole lives for this one man.
And let themselves be branded. They were branded, these women.
Yeah, they branded each other.
With his initials so that he owned them. I mean, it's terrifying, really, isn't it?
I think it's, with him, it sounds like it was degrees. Like they just they amped up the volume on it until they didn't really realise they were in too deep to kind of get out of it. It's interesting because obviously I'm working on the third Mina book, kind of making it feel like a cult, but also the one that's palatable for a YA audience, because a lot of people about the leader wanting to have sex with all the cult, the people in the cult. And I kind of, without giving too much away about what I do, it's interesting, like thinking about something that teenagers will be able to relate to and that won't just be too horrifying, but that still feels like a cult. It's quite a funny balance, because I don't know how far Courtney Summers is going with it yet, because I'm at that early point of what do they see themselves as, what actually are they. It's very interesting.
It's that analogy that if you put a frog in water, it won't, hot water, it'll jump out. But if you put it in and slowly raise the heat, it'll just die.
Won't notice.
That's what I think. That's what cults do.
I think it seems that way.
Because I mean, they profile people as well. Like they pick at. It sounds like what he did was they interviewed people and kind of got to know them, and then he picked out the ones that he thought would be vulnerable to the techniques he used, which is like terrible.
Yeah,
there's a new thing on Netflix about a cult.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so I might watch that one as well.
Is that a non-fiction one, or is that like a kind of...
No, well, yeah, non-fiction. think it was just about having all wives and younger children and marrying those.
A lot of them tend to be.
Kev?
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah.
Bless you.
Sorry, just random Kev sneeze. Bless you.
Bless you. A lot of them tend to be kind of very focused on, having multiple wives and children, and it all seems to be it's dominance, isn't it? That's all it is, really. So
just having the power.
Motive is kind of what was that called? Sorry.
What was it called?
No, I'm still trying to find it. I'm saying having the power over the people.
Yeah. And then
you put it in your watch list, and then they just move it all around. You're like, where is it?
And that's the thing, isn't it? If you can take a woman, any woman, and then get them pregnant, then you've automatically got something to hold over them, because any woman's going to protect their child and do what they're told.
Some of them, I think that was the situation they got in.
It's fascinating, really. Yes, it's a fascinating
keep
area.
Sweet, pray and obey.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard
that
of
sounds
that
like the polygamy people, doesn't it? The extreme Mormon sects.
Yeah, that's it.
They say that the girls are going to keep sweet. Yeah,
that's
what he said. That bloke is in prison.
You hear certain things and your skin just like crawls.
It crawls. Yeah. I agree.
I did some research for Mina 3 just to see what the most extreme cults are, and I'm not going to say on here because if people aren't into it, but some of them it's absolutely wild what people sign themselves up for, like to the point of death. It's
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It is crazy.
All right, let's see what people in the comments are saying. Charlie's
Hi,
here.
Charlie.
Hello. Hope you're getting lots done. Oh, sorry, Paula, I forgot to ask you. How is your book going? You're still reading The Way to Blood?
Yes, still reading The Way to Blood. I'm enjoying it, but I'm also very annoyed at it. Just the amount, the racism and the I'm just like, but what can you do?
It is difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, and I imagine that's like a new dimension to carry of obviously people picking on her for a specific reason, and then this character it's obviously like focused around that. It's kind of intense in a different way.
And it's not just that. I mean, it's set in a small southern town, and it's like it's like in 2014, and they still have segregated proms. And things, and I'm just like, it's just not sitting well with me at all.
Such a weird concept, isn't it? I can't get my head around it, really. I just, everybody's the same to me. They're either good or bad, aren't they? I find it really difficult that people would see somebody as less than them. It's just a strange concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. We did a project called MAFA for the company I work for, and it's kind of delves into like the origins of slavery and the origins of the mindset of people that wanted to enslave a whole group of people, and it's just absolutely shocking. Like it just comes down to money and comes down to looking where there was wealth in the world at the time and exploiting it, taking natural resources, and
it's still happening now,
and it's also like racism is also like a learned behavior as well. So it's like parents are passing it down to their kids and things like that. And that frustrates the hell out of me because, as a mum, you want to be able to teach your children the best and like let them be the best people that they could possibly be. And yet you actively teach them hatred and, bigotry. And it's just like, oh, no, just.
Yeah, I think parents can actively impart those messages, can't they, and model it in their behaviour as well.
And you see it in little kids, and you see in groups of little kids, they just don't see any difference in each other. Do you know? It is really it really is a learned behaviour. I just think it's very sad.
It is. It's shocking.
It is. Nathan's 3, and they're at that age where they've got no judgment of each other. The only thing that he really can't abide is if anybody's mean, like if anybody pushes him or anything like that. That's his only like visceral reaction of, I really don't like that. But
or doesn't share.
They react to behaviours like that. Like you said, that's their version of not good and evil, but like nice and not nice. But they're just like a kind of blank pure slate, aren't they? To be honest.
They are. Yeah.
Oh, that got a bit deep there. I love having
a bit, didn't it? We got a bit of philosophical there, didn't we, love?
Sorry.
No, it's good. I think we need a bit of that sometimes. It's making me think of a lot of things like the cult conversations. I'm like cycling over the scene I'm working on. I'm like, power imbalance and stuff like that might come into play there.
Mm-hmm.
It's weaponized incompetence, is what it is.
True.
It's it's trying to pretend. That's how they get you in. Trying to pretend to be bad at something or very good about something, and then pulling someone in and then showing their true face. You know what I mean? It's that's what
I've just watched the first few minutes of Justified. I don't know whether either of you have watched it, starring Timothy Olyphant. It's like kind of a procedural cop thing, I guess, but set in the Deep South. And he, in the first minute, he basically is a police detective, and he's telling somebody to get out of town. That they're this criminal, and he's giving them so long to get out of town, and they didn't do it. And it ends up with him shooting the guy because he pulls on him first. And as punishment, he's sent back to where he grew up, to like the small town in the Deep South that's very prejudiced. And it's so brilliant, like the characterization in 30 seconds of every character you meet, you know exactly who they are and their actions. And the kind of antagonist is a very charming and compelling character, and it shows him doing absolutely horrendous things the first time you see him. Then it spends the whole series kind of stretching your boundaries and saying, oh, but he's lovely to his partner and he does this and that and the other. Oh, but then he's horrible to his partner and he does this awful thing to him. And it's so good. If you're ever interested in a character study, it's really, really good to watch how people show their true colours, and it really well acted.
Really
Timothy Olyphant's a good actor anyway, so
yeah.
And I love the accent. I love a Deep South accent or a Louisiana accent, or you know what I mean. There's something about the accent that's really quite lovely.
Have you two watched the Santa Clarita Diet that he's in?
I've watched some. I watched like half of the first season.
Yeah, I found it quite funny. Timothy Olyphant's married to Drew Barrymore, and she ends up infected with something that turns her into a flesh eater. Like, so she's sort of like a zombie, but she's not. She's kind of acts like herself, apart from the fact that she eats human flesh.
It's gory. It's on
Netflix.
Gory.
You should enjoy
really it. You should enjoy it,
honestly, I don't. I watched Glastonbury all weekend, and that's the first time I've had the television on for me to watch anything for about 3 months.
Really?
I don't watch television at all. I read. I rarely watch any television.
It's interesting.
I didn't even watch Glastonbury this year.
No, I've watched any of it yet. I think you'd like that, Sharon. It's like he's this really lovely, supportive husband trying to help his wife who's going through.
Who's a zombie?
Yeah, you see the analogy of it, don't you? And like she sometimes like eats people that are really annoying. Like there's this.
She murders people. It's like
it just sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's great, and he's really lovely and supportive. He's like, okay, honey, how are we going to sort this problem out? Like trying to keep it from their teenage child and stuff.
I'll just bury the body.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
They're like, hi, honey, and they're just like pushing the body parts of the person she's just dismembered like behind the garden fence and stuff.
So
Sharon, Charlie's read the perfect UKYA.
Okay, spill, Charlie, spill.
Is it terrifying? Is it going to make me and Paula cry, but Sharon laugh and happy?
Well, it's YA, so it's not going to be too bad. I
know, that's what I'm thinking, but there are some YA authors who can mess with you. I don't know whether you've read any Kat Ellis or Dawn Kurtagich, but
I love Kat Ellis's books. Yeah, they're proper psychologically messing. But they're really, really good psychological horror or horror thrillers. And but compared to the more indie extreme horror I read, they're still quite mild, really.
Yes,
but
exactly.
they mess with your head, so you think about them afterwards. As opposed to you can read something that's really gory and horrific, and then you finish the book and you don't really think about it. The psychological ones are the ones that stay in your head afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting. In the anthology, I'll be interested to hear what you think, because it's written by different people with kind of different levels of horror. Like some of them aren't scary, they've just got horror elements to them. And some of them, like, there's a couple in particular where I was like, oh, I get to the end, like, kind of feeling a bit, you really Yeah. I think you'll really like Catherine Foxfield's story. It's got a really good kind of psychological.
So I loved that one we did for the UK YA book club, the YA book club.
Yeah.
That one we read of hers, I thought that was excellent. The way that you had like 10 characters, which usually would be far too many to remember, but for some reason she just got them in a sentence and you got them in your head straight away. That's a real talent, that is, because usually you'd be like, hang on, which one's this now? But you knew exactly which one was which.
What is the name of that one?
That was Good Girls Die First.
Good Girls Die First.
Yeah,
right.
and she's done Good Girls Die First, Tag Your Dead, and It's Behind You. All very good. I think maybe It's Behind You might be my favourite, where a bunch of like minor influencers who all think they're the bee's knees are locked in a cave together, and they've got to stay in this haunted cave overnight. And it's like, is it haunted? Is it not? They're all just really messy, awful people.
That sounds fun.
Cave together, and they're being filmed, so they're being manipulated. Like, obviously, they're being filmed
Big Brother in a cave.
Well, yeah, I mean they are in a cave.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's really good. So it's not horror, but it's disabled main characters.
Oh, have our personality. Oh, the poor characters.
Oh no. Oh, Charlie needs to tell us what is it. What is it?
She's a tease like you, isn't she?
Yeah, no.
Reading Grace. Oh, Grace.
I think I read that, a long time ago. I really enjoyed it, and there've been other books in the series. Have either of you read them? Those books?
Yes.
There's more than one, isn't there? I think.
Yes, I think there's 3.
Yeah, I liked the first one. It's on those. You really enjoy a book, and then you just don't end up picking the others up for whatever reason. Right. Well, we'll let Charlie. You've got 40 minutes, Charlie, to give us the answer to the book that Charlie.
No, she's doing it now.
He's looking to get disabled rep. Somebody on TikTok was saying today that they the one thing they've never seen in a book is a diabetic rep.
Okay.
And I couldn't think of any either.
No,
where I've read a book where there's been a diabetic character.
Cynthia Murphy's latest one, the Midnight
Game.
That's the one. I want to say Club. That's the other one.
The Midnight Club, the other one.
Yeah. That's interesting because it's like a closed room scenario as well, and you've got a diabetic character who's in the stressful situation, and they kind of have to manage the diabetes on top of that.
Oh, I'll let her know then, because she was asking. She says, "Look at her younger sister's got it," and she says, "I never read anything with me in it." I'm
pretty sure. I double check, but I'm pretty sure that it was that one.
There's
so
4 now.
Those ones, and it's that word. Bolt.
Is that the name of the book?
Yeah,
that's a great name, by the way. I have to call my husband that, but only when he's being nice.
I do swear, but for some reason I balked at saying that on YouTube. I don't know why.
You're never sure what you can say, really. I'm always a bit worried.
I know.
In my normal life, my language is quite awful.
That's a is that one with diabetic rep?
Blood sugar. Oh, okay. I'm going to write these down here.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't swear very much now because of 3-year-old who learns.
Yes.
Absolutely
and repeats you.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's about colon things. Oh, yeah, yesterday he was saying complicated. Oh, Mummy, it's really complicated. And I was like, complicated. Got it. It's about colon things. It's so funny.
I was just looking up Graceling. Yes, I have read the trilogy. It was a long while ago. There's Graceling Fire and then Bitter Blue. Excellent, I enjoyed them. They were good.
Yeah, my little stepson used to say exceptionable. He couldn't say exceptional. Exceptionable. And we still say it in the family, and he's 18 now. You're being exceptionable.
My mum's got a utility room, and he used to call it a tiltility room. I quite liked that. Is it a tiltility room, Mama?
Well, Wyatt's still non-verbal, but he will kind of like make like noises and sounds, and like when he gets frustrated, he will go yah-yee,
yah-yee,
yah-yee, and we think it's him like shouting at Daddy.
Oh,
we don't know for certain.
To become verbal, it needs like the anger to kind of
yah-yee.
He might be non-verbal, but he makes himself known, doesn't he?
Oh yes, he does.
My great niece and nephew are both non-verbal autistic, and but you can tell if they're annoyed or they're happy.
And just because they're not speaking doesn't mean that they're not smart. It's like
they can still communicate, can't they?
So it's like you look, when you look at like children, you're just like, what are you thinking? But like with Wyatt, it's just like you really are thinking about all the things, aren't you?
Yeah, they are funny. Charlie still can't say radiator. I feel like there are things that I can't say, but off the top of my head.
Radiator.
I want to know. Next time you come on, Charlie, you're going to have to say radiator for us. I struggle with things like authoritative. like, where does it stop?
Authoritative.
Yeah,
it doesn't stop. No.
Yeah.
I think when I got my tongue pierced, I couldn't say the word giraffe
Oh.
for some weird reason. I couldn't roll my tongue around it. I couldn't.
You must
have.
Yeah,
I called it a giraffe. I was like, is it a giraffe? Like, no, giraffe. But
we all did that, I think, especially when we were younger. If you don't hear the word, how do you know? Do you know what I mean? I mean, is it quinoa was the one for me? I think I called it quinoa for ages before I even knew how it was pronounced.
And also, is it kefir? I still want to call that keeper because, like,
yeah, exactly.
Chipotle chilies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like chipotle. My mum will say chipotle.
Oh, is it chipotle? I have no idea.
I think that's how you say it in the north anyway. Let's go for chipotle, love. Isn't it? I think that's how we say it.
Probably. We do like alligator.
Like radiator, like alligator.
I can't make those.
Radiator.
Radiator rather
than alligator. Radiator. Well, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Communication.
We know what you mean.
Yeah. It's like names in books, isn't it? I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, how we all read names differently. And they were talking about somebody, I can't even remember the character now. And I went, well, that's not how you say it. And they said, well, that's how I say it. I went, that's not how I say it. But we all read these names differently. Yeah.
It's even better with, like, you know, if you're reading like high fantasy or like just like that, and it's like you'll read the person's name or they'll come up and you just be like, and Ujica Plasma said, you're like, yeah, all right then, that's their name.
So true. Just make it up. I just call him Bob if I can't read it.
You can start calling everyone Dave if you can't remember. Like he was saying something about like talking about the Stitch show, and he couldn't remember a bit of it. So he was like, I think he was called Dave. I'm like, where's this Dave come from? Everybody can't remember it's called Dave.
That is how I used to jump queues when I was back in my 20s, early 20s, when, you know, you were like outside the club waiting to, like, you know, get in, people all lined up. You just like lean over and be like, Dave, and Dave, and like, you know, 4 or 5 people would like lean round, and you just be like, excuse me, just work your way. It does.
Dave,
there's always a Dave.
There is. Oh, there's one day somebody will answer you, won't they? Right, I think it might be time. Let's go on to the next sprint, and
let's finish this one.
Charlie giggling, bless her. We're going to ask you to say it next time, Charlie. That's it. Right, let's do the next one. Let us know in the comments what you're reading. You too, I hope you have a lovely read and you managed to finish your book, Sharon. Yours stops. Well, I'm sure it's going to continue making you angry, but let's see how angry by the next sprint we catch up on. No, I was sort of ready then, but still not on the ball to click. It's getting late. I can feel the tiredness descending. I had a pretty good writing slot then. I've just basically entirely rewritten a chapter, which normally takes me ages, but it flowed pretty well, so I'm pleased with that. I just need to finish that off in the next sprint, and then I think I'm going to watch some Yellow Jackets as a little treat. So, did you manage to finish yours, Sharon?
Yeah, finished that one, and I didn't start the new book. I went on to another one on Kindle I've been sent. It's an interesting kind of idea. It's kind of existential about everybody's born with a hole in their chest, and they have to try and find some way in life to fill it. It's really, really good. It's a very little indie author. And so I thought, well, I'll have a quick look what it's like, and I've got a bit kind of invested now. It's only a novella. It's only like 160 pages, so it's not too long, but fascinating idea. So,
yeah. Never read
so I
anything
started
like
reading that.
Before.
Neither have I. So it's really unusual. So,
nice. Yeah. How about you, Paul? Are you still feeling angry?
Yeah, still feeling angry. The kitty made me jump this time.
Oh. The book must have grabbed you, got hold of you.
It was, yeah.
How much have you read of it now?
My 123 pages in. So
good chunk.
Not that far in.
Oh, I feel like you've got a lot to come in the hat. I think you're going to go through a lot of emotions in this book.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like I'm reading it for my book club as well.
Right.
It was this month's pick, so yeah, I'm having to write down thoughts and feelings and things, as well as all that. So yeah, I'm not just reading it for. It's like I'm being really critical of it, and it's just making me even more angry.
There's going to be some good discussions, I feel, about that book when you come to the book club.
Possibly.
Let's see how the comments are going. Ashlyn, you missed all the kind of profound conversations in the beginning. I mean, we've covered a fair range of topics. Yeah, I kind of had to be there. I suppose you can go watch, like you said. Like one of those things that it kind of made sense in the moment. Ashlyn's going to watch it and go, "What?
What?
How did they get on that subject?"
Yeah, we have gone off tangent a bit, haven't we?
It wasn't us. It was Charlie.
That's true, actually. Charlie and her radiators and her book regs. Oh, have you got some choices, Charlie? Let us know if you want us to want us to give you some help with that. Can you see it's getting near 10 o'clock? The coherence is going. Woo.
It's the way people read, isn't it? I like most of the people I know are mood readers, so they read what they feel like reading, which is lovely. I'm a bit of both. I like to have a set TBR of about like 10, 12 books, and then I mood read for the rest of them, of for the 10 or whatever I do that month. But but I always I like to have a set amount to read, otherwise I'd never get through my physical TBR.
Yeah, same. I do that though, but then I can't read as much as you, so I end up putting 10 or 12 books on it, but reading 6 or 8. So every month there's like a spillover that I don't read. And also then I got sent Gabriel Dillon's new book from the Shift Point series, which is a really fun, spooky middle grade. So I dropped everything and I'm reading that. And then Catherine Foxfield's new one arrived a week early. So I'm like, oh, I need to read that before it comes out. So I kind of want to drop everything and read that, and I've just already dropped everything, so it's a cascade of dropping books. And I was already reading. I was already reading a really good book, but that one comes out. In fact, oh gosh, that one might come out next week as well. Panic. Maybe that's out in 2 weeks, so I might be okay. But
if I get one I really want,
I'm really bad at especially reading books for review, because it's like if you use NetGalley or whatever, it's like I'll go on and I'll be like, I'll read the synopsis and be like, oh, I'm really interested in that, and then put it down for the thing, and then it'll say, yeah, you get to read this book, and then because I'm a mood reader, it's like the interest is gone. It's like I don't want to read that now.
I've got Ronald Malfi's new book as an ARC to read, and it's the first time I don't get a lot from NetGalley. Most of mine come from indie authors. They'd send them to me, but I really fancy. I love Ronald Malfi's books. He's a great horror author, and it's the first time I've ever got one from NetGalley, and they've said Yeah, you read it, no worries, but you cannot post about it anywhere until this date.
Oh, I
Oh.
had
It's
that
the
with
first time that has ever happened to me on Ned Gallery. I
Yeah,
don't
I've never
normally
heard of
anyway,
that either.
but
what was
yeah, you
yeah, I've
can't
had that.
post until I think the earliest is the 12th of July, which is fine because I wouldn't normally anywhere that far in advance.
Mm.
You know, I might, you know, do a little video or something, but I don't tend to do a review till nearer the time.
Yeah, I think
But
they
first
do
time
that
I've
with
ever
really,
said,
really big books sometimes, because
yeah.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower, when Stephen, is it
Chbosky.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't know how to pronounce. When his horror debut came out, they did a really big thing of the title got announced at a particular time and a particular date, and they got like bloggers to do it, and then you couldn't post your reviews until a particular time on a particular date, and it was like all really embargoed and kind of strict. So yeah, I think it's a good way to build hype, isn't it? And also these big books, they kind of don't want too much to get out about them.
It's the publishers as well. If you get it from like you know, a trad publisher, then you know they have a set time scale for things. The majority of my reviews come from independently or self-published, and so they're just happy to get any promotion you can give them, really. Yeah, so I thought that's interesting. So
Yeah, I mean, someone did send me a message on TikTok, and they were like, "Would you mind, like, you know, reviewing my book for sent it to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I always feel really weird about it, but I'm just like, "Yeah, but you know, it's gonna be an honest review. There's just gonna be, you know, if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't." Yeah, I'm not gonna, even if I don't like the book, I won't bash it because it's like, you know, just because it's not for me, it might not be. It could be for someone else. But I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, I can't. I just feel weird about it.
I don't negatively review. If I don't like something, I'll go back to the author and say, "I'm sorry, this isn't for me, and I'm not going to post it anywhere." And I'm very honest about that. I only ever post stuff I like. It's just all subjective, isn't it? You know, everybody likes different stuff, don't they?
They do. A little person's just talking on the monitor, so I'm going to go and see what that's about. So I'm just going to do the next sprint. I think we'd got to a good point anyway. So comments, I'm sorry, I will come back to you, but before we have a little screamer on our hands, I'm going to go.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. It's just his usual evening hello that he likes to do. So I will just start the sprint off, go and see what that's about, and then hopefully we can get some more stuff done, and we'll see you in half.
Yeah.
That's it. It's completed. I watched the Grand Tour. So I was super productive and played Angry Birds, which apparently I'm obsessed with again after how many years did it come out? So yeah, I had a nice relaxing time. I finished my chapter really quickly, so I was like, have a little treat. So how about you two? How far did you get, Paula?
Got to 150.
Nice. And Sharon?
Yeah, it's an interesting book. Yes, so I'm quite enjoying it. So I'll probably carry on reading for a bit, but I'll be doing that in bed.
Same.
I mean, you could take the stream to bed if you want. No judgment here. I'm wearing a t-shirt on the top half, pajamas on the bottom half with my usual book
that's how we do in this house.
Yeah, if you're on camera, this part needs to look vaguely presentable, But
I'm just in a jumpsuit. I'm addicted to jumpsuits now and dungarees. I'm in my children's presenter era, I think. I absolutely love it. I'm so comfy.
I've just discovered them too the past couple of years, dungarees, and then jumpsuits. Like this past few months, it's all I bought, jumpsuits.
I love them. I've got so many. See, I love this. It's got swirlies all over it. It's really
that is pretty. I like the
I've got a few jumpsuits in my basket, but I haven't bit the bullet and actually bought any yet.
Oh, I've got so many of them. And then I've also got addicted to those sleep teas, from Cuddly and hoodies and stuff. And I don't know how they work, but they do cool you down, and I get so hot. So I'm a bit addicted to them. So if I'm not in my jumpsuit, I'm in one of them.
I might have to look into those. They sound amazing for the summer.
I don't know how it works, but literally it's cooler. It's weird.
Charlie, an agent of chaos.
Yeah, she is, but in the loveliest way.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of orange, joyful chaos that we love. 23 books this month. That's astounding.
I've just started is my 27th. I don't know how.
I don't know how many books I've read this month.
This month seems to have been really long.
I think I've read about 4, but I have edited several books.
You do both have children though. My stepkids are grown up and adults now, so there's that's all I do really is work and read. So
I've tried to take it.
Little people.
I tried to take it easy this month because last month I was in a readathon and I did 30 books.
Whoa!
And I was just like,
one a day, nearly.
Yeah, I was like, right, there's 30 books. I can't fit another one in. I was like, on the last day of the readathon, they were like, can't you do it 31 in 31? And I was like, nah, I'm done.
Sometimes it's like that, Sometimes you just fly through them because you have a run that are really good and you just can't put them down, and it's just the way it is. But it's very, I'm quite a lot older than both of you, I think. So I don't have any little kids. Grandkids maybe someday.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I mean, it's just how you choose to use your time, isn't it? And people say to me, how do you read as many as you do with the stuff that you other things? And I just prioritize it. If Nathan's watching TV, I quickly get a book out because that's my reading time. He's chilling, I'm chilling. We're all good.
I've got a book everywhere. I get up in the morning, I read a book. I've got a book by my bed, a Kindle by my bed, a Kindle in my office for my lunch break. There's books everywhere in my house, and everywhere I read, so I always read 5 or 6 at the same time. So I just pick them up,
I've read 20 books so far this month, but I got to sleep listening to audiobooks as well because I can't sleep without noise. So. Yeah,
I've only recently got into Audible. I've read. I don't count those, but I don't know why I don't. It's weird 'cause they're still reading, right? I just don't count them on my book list. I've read 2. Yeah, I've listened to 2, but I quite like them when I'm working. To be playing. But I've only just recently started audiobooks. So I tried it once before and I fell asleep. But I should do really. I just don't know why I do.
I think when I do my YouTube videos, it's the Kindle ones and the audio ones I sometimes don't mention, and it is just because they aren't a physical book in front.
They aren't physically there.
Yeah. When I'm trying to check what I've read, I have a red pile, so sometimes I go a bit rogue and I don't.
I put pictures up if I don't have them physically.
Yeah. It's like I'll get books with my Kindle, but not with Audible.
I'll get books from the library as well, and it's like. So if I don't have the library book with me anymore, like, you've got to put a picture up. Like, I did read it.
Kev does that for me if I remember to mention them, but more often than not, he'll go, Kindle this month, when he's editing the videos for me, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll probably read more on my Kindle than physical.
Yeah,
I love my Kindle. Yeah.
But we're back to the discussion of what we do with books. I do that. Or
I agree.
If I liked lots about it but not other things, I prioritise the things I did like, and kind of for balance, sometimes I'll say why it wasn't for me, but not.
Yeah, I think Chris tends to. Chris said to me, like, do the shit sandwich, kind of like do the whole, like, you know, a good thing or good things about the book, what you didn't like about the book, and then finish on the good things, another few good things that you liked about the book. So it's not fully, like, you know, a scathing review, which I wouldn't do anyway.
The only ones I do that of, I think, are classics. I occasionally give us not scathing review, but like I started The Portrait of Dorian Gray and I just couldn't get into it, and I found
I don't like
really
that book.
rated. The views are really like it seemed like offensive, and I'm not easily offended, but I was like, oh, that's just not age 12, that viewpoint. So I think books like that, where I feel like I'm not offending an author, and it's so removed.
So you can't offend them. Yes,
it's so removed from the time period. I just modern books, I feel like I can see what the person was going for, but if I can't, it's too far removed from what I'm familiar with, I think. Ashland had a bad review. How dare they? This book was too fast-paced and actiony, but I guess it would be good for fans of Buffy who want something.
That would make me read it.
I mean, my friend got one that said something like, it's only suitable for fans of Readathon. I was like, fine, I would read it on that basis, like 1 star. Okay.
But I'm just confused by the whole, this book was too fast-paced and too actiony.
I get that sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I like to go into a book blind, but normally it's on my radar somewhere, and I've heard it, like, you know, I've heard a snippet of the blurb, or I've got the book in front of me, I looked at the blurb, or, you know, that kind of thing. So, you know, if you know that you don't like fast-paced books or actiony books,
don't read it.
Why feckin' read it?
I sometimes I didn't realise there's going to be so much murder in it, and you're like, oh...
It's called Mina and the Slayers. Mina and the Undead. Hello.
And
with horror, you know, with indie horror especially, I always look at the 1-star review. Always, because it'll say, "Oh, this was too much for me," and I'm like, "Right, in my basket."
That's mine.
That's actually a selling point for me, because that's what I want. But it's just like, oh, somebody reviewed something once 1 star. Well, it arrived ripped. Well, that's hardly the fault of the author, is it?
The book's fault.
Yeah, there's a 1-star review of mine that says that, and also I had this weird thing when my book got linked to a Sudoku book. A self-published author accidentally or intentionally used my ISBN number, and somebody put, "This is a violent book for teenagers. It's not a Sudoku book," and gave me a 1-star review, and I was like, okay. So Amazon and the ISBN agency are having issues. That's clearly the book's
harsh. It's harsh. Somebody's put their whole heart and soul into stuff, and it's just like, I would never do that. Even if I hated it, I wouldn't say anything.
See, I got this, like, I bought it secondhand, and the book is, like, you know, a bit damaged and warped and things. But, you know, the writing is still legible.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, the book itself, it's like you can't fault a book for, you know, a bit of rich pages.
Because of Amazon. Stupid. Secondhand books that say that they're like new, and then they come stamped all over with like that they've been in a library, and it says like "do not resell everywhere," and you're like, oh, okay.
You know, a lot of the point horror ones I've been collecting, Amy, have been ex-library books. They seem to be. I've had a few that have come. One of them still had all the stamps in and the little card. You know, like the old days. You know, back in the day. I love it. I love finding mystery stuff in secondhand books.
I once found like a love letter to like a football team in a book. That was nice. A secondhand one. It was like, obviously a child had written like, "So and so is my favourite team," and it was really sweet.
I found somebody's wedding picture, a picture of a wedding from the 50s in a book once. I thought
that's what I found as a receipt. Like, you know, well, not a receipt, a grocery list.
I think generally that's the thing with reviews, isn't it? Every book isn't for every person. And, you know, I try not to read reviews if they're not tagged, if I'm not tagged in them, because I feel like if they've not sought me out, then it might be for a reason.
It must be upsetting, though. It must be upsetting for you. I think it must be kind of, well, I think it must be upset. I always think I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say something in real life to somebody like that. Do you know what I mean? So
I read all my net galleys, and some of those are funny because they say stuff like, I don't like YA books or vampires or mysteries, but I thought that I'd give this one a go, and I didn't like it. So stuff like that doesn't upset me. It's the ones that say 4-star and it's really, really good, and I'm like, oh, tag me in it. This is lovely. And then there's some big stinger at the end, and I'm like, oh, they're the ones that get me. I've built myself up, and then they squash me at the end.
This is why I prefer Storygraph, because on Goodreads you can only put 4 or 5 stars, and some things for me are like 4.5, but you can't do it. With Storygraph you can break it down into quarters. Do you know what I mean?
And to be fair, with Storygraph you've got the the little kind of like checklist that you can go through. That. If you don't want to fully review the book, you can just be like, yeah, it's fast paced, it's adventurous, it's a bit dark,
And the buddy read section on that is fantastic. Set up a buddy read.
Yeah.
So it's much better.
I don't want another review thing. I already don't use Goodreads properly, so just give me more anxiety.
I think Goodreads has gone weird.
Oh, I'd love you to, Charlie. I'd love that. I'd love that. I don't know if you've got enough material though. I'm quite wide.
An audio play that senses when you're dozing off. That's what I need, because I do quite often listen to an audio book and then go, oh, I've just missed 10 minutes. Whoops.
It'd have to switch to brown noise for me. I can't do white noise.
No math problems. It's really, and I think the thing that I found annoying about it as well was that it had genuinely been a stressful problem. Like, how did my book of all the books get linked to a Sudoku book? And my publisher couldn't fix it. Even the ISBN agency were like, this is just unprecedented, and this person's just used your number, so we can't. They need to scrub it from everywhere, and there's still traces of it.
So random.
I mean, who out there thought, I'm going to write a Sudoku book and I'm going to use that ISBN number that already exists and is attached to a book?
The chances of it. I mean, the combination of numbers. There's
I wonder if that's what they did. If they literally just typed out a sequence of numbers that happened to be mine. Or they went on and copied and pasted and thought, yeah, this book sounds like mine. This is about vampires.
Yeah, maths and vampires.
Mina and the maths. Yeah,
Mina and the maths. There's your next
book. If you wrote it, I'd still read it.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't like maths.
I take that as a nice compliment. And on that
I'm an accountant, so I tend to kind of, that's what I do.
I'm married to one, so I think it's a very good time to end on a little compliment of myself to go to sleep with. So thanks for
you look very awake, actually, Amy.
I don't feel it.
Yeah, you do.
I'm like,
you haven't given any secrets away or anything. We haven't had to suddenly start talking to stop you.
I've rambled a little, I feel, but I think I'm coming to the wired bit of tired, so I need to go to bed before I'm lost for the night and I'm wide awake.
I need to get some sleep, sure. Yeah, I do.
Aww. Well, thank you both. Thank you, people in the comments, for the humor and the nice chats. And hopefully we'll see you in the next sprint. I'm here on Thursday. I think Annalise Avery's already promised to come on. Or if there's not this week, next week, I might convince Ashlyn to come on as well. See if we can get all the A-name authors together. Maybe an Alex as well, just to throw them in. So
I love
just have us in the comments, just going, she's talking about the secret books again.
I know. See what you can squeeze out of us. Night, everyone. Thank you.
Night, everyone.
And see you, some of you, hopefully on Thursday at the same time, 7:30 UK time. Bye.
Bye.